Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my first impressions on Wriothesley. I'm kind of on the fence about him. I think he's not bad, but knowing how other teams should perform with the amount of investment that is currently on the Wriothesley I'm testing, comparing that to how he performs, I think he is a bit of an underperformer. Mainly, a pretty big issue that's kind of hard to notice in this Abyss, because this Abyss doesn't have too much AoE, is how bad his AoE is. The size of his attacks is really, really small. I feel like he's got similar AoE to Hu Tao, if not worse, in a lot of situations. There are things about him that feel good. I think his melt teams are fine. I don't think they're good enough to justify the lack of AoE, nor the potential issues that arise when you go below 50% HP. But it is fine. Like, if you're gonna play him, it's definitely something you can do. But overall, he's a fairly underwhelming unit for sure. I think the teams that I've enjoyed playing the most have unfortunately, unsurprisingly, been the Hyperbloom variations. This account that I'm testing right now has a C2 Nahida, which makes it a little bit more difficult to test properly. So I kind of just nerfed myself and used Baizhu instead, and it still kind of it felt better in most situations. It had similar or better clear times. I do unfortunately think that as of right now, Hyper Fridge is the way. I mean, his closest comparison is obviously Wanderer. He's got the same skill, the same burst, the same C2. Like, he's Wanderer but cryo. I think a good way to understand where his issues lie is to look at Shenhe's kit and how just poorly she works with him, even though she works well with him. So let me explain. Her elemental skill, the top version gives you skill and burst damage, and the hold gives you normal charge and plunge. When you play her with Ayaka, you will usually do tap E's, and you will do 2 of them per rotation, because you can swap back into Shenhe after 10 seconds. Usually right after you've used Ayaka's burst, to use up all of your quills in one Ayaka burst. And with a 10-second cooldown on the press, that makes sense. Now the thing with Wriothesley is, because he spends a really large amount of time on field, you can't really justify doing 2 skills per rotation on Shenhe. So generally, you'll just only do 1, either that or you'll significantly extend your rotations. So you're gonna end up doing a hold skill on Shenhe, and then maybe follow that up with a tap, which will at the very least make your rotation 25 seconds. Now delaying your rotation to 25 seconds from 20, which is the default for most characters, is a pretty big DPS loss, right? You're losing 25% DPS just from that if you're doing 2 skills per rotation. And if you're only doing 1, then Shenhe's ER requirements are incredibly high. And then when you pair that with the fact that when you go below 50% HP on Wriothesley, you stop generating energy until you're back over 50% HP. And what you get is a massive energy black hole where it is possible to get your burst back, but it's a pain in the ass. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong with it. Now, I've done testing on a lot of teams. You're gonna see my initial reaction to that testing after I'm done with this introduction. I think overall, that is the biggest issue with Shenhe, is that it really feels like the ER requirements are incredibly high. This account has a C1 Shenhe, which makes it a lot easier, but I've been trying not to use a C1 and to only use my E while I have 2 stacks. And you can really feel it. His burst animation feels too long, just doesn't feel great. I think I was slightly pleasantly surprised by how well he works with Yunjin, although I do think it's pretty hard to fit Yunjin in a team where she's not gonna feel like shit to play, because Yunjin is a character that has really high ER requirements if you're playing her as the only Geo unit in the team, and on top of that, you need to proc your fab when you swap to her, so you need to build a lot of crit and a lot of ER and a lot of defense so that her buff is big. And then on top of that, I mean, even this, right, 50% crit, there's a decent chance we don't proc it, so we're gonna have to spend more time on her, and it's pretty rough. I'll leave you guys with the first impression footage, and I'll see you guys again for the outro afterwards.
Transfiguration. Witness the power for what? I swear by my sword.
So like you do this? More or less. I didn't get a swirl there. That's on me.
By ordinance divine. Take your true form. Unleash. Ring cutter. Cryo incarnate. Wait, hear me. Transfiguration.
A moment, please.
Obey. Body and mind.
Alright, like you do something like this. 25-second rotation with 2 Shenhe's.
My will embodied. Do your master's bidding. I swear by my sword.
Now.
Manifest.
I don't know, man. But this does not feel very good.
Transfiguration. Cryo incarnate. Teamwork is dreamwork.
Let's begin.
I did not mean to eat twice, but it is what it is.
By ordinance divine. Everybody stand back.
A moment, please.
Unleash.
This feels better.
Do your master's bidding. Everybody stand back. Nice and spicy. Let's light it up. Get them.
I'm trying to act as if I didn't have C1 Shenhe and wait until I have the whole cooldown back before I use the E.
Going in. Let's light it up.
Yeah, this one not quite as not quite as ideal. Ah! Okay, we're fine.
Let's begin.
In cryo incarnate. Everybody stand back. Nice and spicy.
A moment, please.
Well, Red Bennett buff, I guess. That's fine. I can backdash for it.
Obey. Let's light it up.
Easy clap.
Take your true form. By ordinance divine. Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's light it up. Get them.
Let's begin.
Going in. My will embodied.
Now.
Time to act.
Oh my. You know what? We're just gonna wait. We're gonna start 20 seconds after the start. Okay.
I see everything. Let me read you a verse. This way.
Now.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, this team feels the best so far, but it's also kind of unfair because Nahida's C2.
Stabilize.
Go in! Let's light it up! You're toast! Act right, kid!
Now.
That one doesn't count. Oops.
Gather.
How?
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Use Shenhe instead of Zhongli. Don't have her on this account. That's alright though. Okay.
One with wind and cloud! Game's up! Time's over! Quiet now!
A moment, please. Oh, so sorry. Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Gotcha! You're about to get dicey.
I forgot to refresh the VV.
Wind strike! Busted!
I am not gonna lie, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all.
One with wind and cloud! Game's up! Time's over! Gotcha!
Now.
Okay, can you do the thing?
I warned you!
There we go.
Busted! You're about to get dicey.
This one will be frozen.
Wind strike!
This feels terrible, I'm gonna be honest. This feels a lot worse than I expected.
Rain cutter! Rain outlines your face! No, my soul!
You still have a special place in my heart.
Act no more.
Witness the power of the wild. Rain outlines your face! No, my
Yee!
Shine down! Let me leave you there! Rain outlines your mercy!
What is blood doing?
Everyone's okay.
Yee.
Sharing my knowledge.
We won't be able to properly test it, but we gotta try it anyways, right? Yeah, we can use Baizhu instead of Nahida.
Busted. Here comes the challenge.
Taking a turn for the better.
Get them.
For more, please.
Yeah, Yelan burst is expiring too early. And with Xingqiu, it's way too much hydro for the team to be working as it should. Damn. Can't really do it properly. That's unfortunate.
There is no escape.
I need to get my burst back. Okay.
Let me read you a verse.
Seems like an emergency. Yeah, let's begin.
Yeah, this definitely feels better than his other teams. That's not a good thing, if it is, but...
Rain outlines your face. Render, protect you.
Taking a turn for the better. Now.
Oh, fuck you. Yeah, because our ER is just a little lackluster otherwise. And we have like 220. It's not like we're on low ER on Baizhu.
Comes first. For more.
It's just, he doesn't generate much. It might be worth running him on 5. So we can actually generate enough energy on Baizhu. I mean, at that point, it's probably better to just do this. Yeah, so this was about as fast as the melt team with Shenhe, except with the melt team with Shenhe, we actually broke the pearl pretty quickly, and we didn't do that here, so it's better, basically.
불타올라라.
내가 널 지켜줄게. 불의 방패.
기억했어.
God, I don't want to talk about it, chat.
내가 모두를
시작하지. 네 지혜를 마주해라. 지원군 등장. 불 조심해.
퍼져라. 이것이 바로 지혜의
이깟 상처 따위.
어딜 도망가? 거기 잠깐 실례. 지원군 등장. 핫! 불의 방패.
이따가 조금 아플 거야. 우리 집에 놀러.
I don't want to talk about it.
물의 은사가 물러나라.
전부 다 보인.
내가 널 지켜줄게. 불 조심해.
내가 모두를 지켜줄게.
어딜 도망가?
Fuck!
잘 가라고. 핫! 지원군 등장. 불의 방패.
이깟 상처 따위.
거기 잠깐 실례.
I'm dying to my own burning, man.
지식을 너와 공유.
내가 널
That's
지켜줄게.
what's happening.
내가 모
기억했어. 지식을 너와 공유.
열어. 즉시 성급.
지원군 등장. 여길 보라고.
I missed my E, by the way. It's fucking Doom. Also,
이따가 조금 아플 거야. 닷. 이것이 바로 지혜의
날 따라 고화심.
give me my burst.
캬!
퍼져라.
She does.
수호의 불!
This isn't that bad. How doable is it to do a 2E Baizhu rotation? If you do like E?
약을 먹어야지.
빗줄기를 그리긴 어려운 법. 즉시
지원군 등장! 불 조심해! 핫!
병은 빨리 치료해야 해.
Into this, into this,
조심해!
into this.
몸에 좋은 약은
어딜 도망가?
약을 먹어야지.
고화심비.
내가 널 지켜줄게! 불의 방패!
목숨을 소중히 여겨야죠.
잘 가라고! 시작하지!
열어.
불 조심해!
Okay, I kind of like that more.
제우 유호.
수호의 불! 하, 여길 보라고!
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
거기 잠깐 쉴래?
Yeah, this definitely doesn't feel as good in AoE. Oh, what have I done?
고화심비. 이 검을
내가 널 지켜줄게! 불의 방패! 주의 조심해! 불 조심해!
즉시 성급. 빗줄기를 그리긴
마음대로 움직이면 안 돼.
수호의 불! 시작하지!
I fucked up. No, I'm not gonna have my burst. Okay.
달아, 월계.
Come on, Prokofov. Okay. Alright, we're good.
검을. 제우 유호.
지원군 등장! 불의 방패!
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
어딜 도망가?
아프마 사라져라.
즉시 성급. 서두르자.
수호의 불!
달아, 월계.
거기 잠깐 쉴래? 네 죄를 마주해라!
열어. 고화심.
내가 널 지켜줄게! 여길 보라고!
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
시작하지!
I mean, it's fine.
월계. 금방 갈 공수 편비.
회수. 마무리. 작업 끝.
티오라 특제.
자! 시작하지!
Like, Yelan's doing more damage than he is.
네 죄를 마주해라!
낙엽이 지는 게
얽혀들어라. 잡았다.
날 만만하게 보지 마.
바람을 타고
아프다고 울지 마. 마무리. 작업 끝. 잡았다.
반성하라고.
자 구름이 숨고 기러기가
주의 조심해.
I am so bad at the video game. There we go.
잡았다냐?
어떤 수가 나오려나? 아프다고 울지 마.
술 타령한 대가.
바람이 마음을 알아주네.
He's not hitting. Yeah, I mean, this does pretty well when you have a C2 Yelan. Alright, so I've tested him now a lot more. After recording most of the video yesterday, I went to bed, and as soon as I woke up this morning, I started streaming, and I've been testing him for another about like 3 hours. And I think I've warmed up a little bit to him overall. I still don't think he's a great unit. I still think he's very much a unit that, like, he's not going to be one of the premier carries. But if you really like him, you'll be able to make him work. I still stand by that overall conclusion. But I do think he's a bit better than I initially gave him credit for on the first day. Yeah, I'm cheating. This isn't just day 1 first impression. It's day 1 and 2 first impressions. I've tested him in a lot more teams. I'm sure some of the footage from today might actually make it into the video. I've tested him in Oven a lot more, tested him a little bit in Freeze, tested him a bunch in a lot of Melt archetypes. I think mainly he performs a bit better than I expected in the archetypes that I didn't really like very much initially. I think he's about as good as I expected when it comes to the Hyperfridge archetype, about as good as expected when it comes to Oven, maybe a bit better even. He's a little bit better than I expected in Melt teams, although he does still have the pretty big issues of, like, his AoE isn't big, it's very small. As soon as the enemies are not actively sticking to you, and especially because he has some knockback in some of his attacks, you'll stop hitting multiple of them. I think it's a bit hard to notice in the current Abyss because this chamber, the construction mech, just goes all over the place anyways, and in this chamber, the wind operatives teleport to where you are very, very often while you're fighting them. But it's definitely something I can see not feeling the greatest when you're fighting like double Mirror Maiden or stuff like that. That being said, he is still, much like a character like Hu Tao, able to consolidate his AoE if you're playing him with a grouper. And if that's what you're doing, then you'll be alright in AoE situations. He also definitely, when you're playing him with Bennett, has the issue of, well, he knocks enemies back, and sometimes enemies are just mobile, and he's melee, and his attacks track enemies a lot, so you can't, like, it's very difficult to stay in Bennett's circle in a lot of situations, which isn't an issue unique to him, but it's something that's still worth mentioning. I will say the healerless teams are a little bit better than I expected. If you have a shielder or a Xingqiu as another form of defensive utility, you can very much get away with healerless teams. So in something like this, where you do slightly different combos, right? And you basically just do N5 into charge it. Anyways, once you start being a little low after proccing your first thing, you just start mashing your charge attack. It's a bit hard to show here properly because Seahorse is a bitch, but I fucked it up, but it's fine. You'll probably still lose. I mean, whenever you get hit, right? You'll lose some E uptime, but you can kind of just spam normal attack or spam charge attack. And yeah, it's pretty expensive in stamina, but it does work. It's all right. It functions. It works. But you will need to make sure you're not wasting your stamina on your supports to, like, do dash cancels for their skills, because otherwise you're never going to regenerate enough. So that's something to keep in mind if you do that. But yeah, all in all, fairly okay unit. Definitely not the best unit in the patch, but also definitely not a Dea situation or anything like that. He's overall just a pretty okay. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube.